Hello and welcome everyone to Devlog 9. A quick update before getting to the new stuff. If you're watching this on my main channel, simply called Piku Fighter, I have now created a game development specific channel called Piku Game Dev. Please subscribe to that channel as the new videos will appear one day earlier there. Anyhow, on to the updates. Range attacks are now in the game, and the sprite rotates towards the target, looking good already in my opinion. Changed a bunch of the UI images to use Sprite 2D to texture rect so they can scale properly. The reason I was using Sprite 2Ds instead was because of the animation sheets. I just figured out I can use an Atlas texture in the texture rect to get a similar effect. Can I look at items in the shop with the right mouse button, and looking at armor or weapons also gives it stats. I made a training dummy that you can spawn with a command. It's very attackable. This little dude will help me figure out range attacks better since he doesn't freaking move. Attack line between the player and its current target is now in the game. This will help me figure out which tiles I should check is blocking the projectile path. Might leave it in game as a setting if that's something players want in the full game as well. I now have a math thing that calculates which tile the projectile travels over. I'm so happy with this. It shouldn't even be that resource heavy. I'm not gonna go too deep into details, I'll say that it works for now. Range attacks now check if the tile it will travel over is passable. It even works with open and closed doors. It would also work for windows, but I haven't implemented them to open yet. And range enemies like these goblins now also moves if they don't have a clear lines of sight to attack you. And range attacks are now more or less fully implemented for javelins. I also updated the image setting code for the ground items and inventory items so it works better. You can see on the beach how much testing that took. Range ammunition now has a chance to be left on the ground when thrown. The break chance variable is between 0 to 100% chance to break. The higher, the bigger chance to break. Items are now combined on tiles as well as in equipment slots. A long awaited functionality. Added a very slow moving enemy, the garbage jelly. Lower in the end of the video. It's also quite tanky, it hits pretty hard to make up for it. Can now open and close windows. And also shoot through them, of course. Updated the frog and wolf sprite to be in the same perspective as the other enemies. Also changed movement speed to be a number indicating milliseconds and added a similar friction coefficient to the tiles, reducing the speed in milliseconds. Now to be clear, I'm not entirely happy with my current movement speed formula. To elaborate on how it works, the player's movement speed value of 200, and the tile that they're trying to walk to has a friction coefficient value. In this example, let's say it's 100. I subtract the friction coefficient from the player's speed and end up with a difference of plus 100. This is then transformed to milliseconds by multiplying it with 0.001 and then subtract this value from the base movement speed cooldown, which in this case is 1 second. So in this case, the player movement speed will be 1 second minus 0.1 second equals in 0.9 seconds. This formula is nice since it allows me to also go the other way around, meaning if the player movement speed will be 100 and the friction coefficient of the tile will be 200, I end up with a movement cooldown of 1.1 seconds instead. But the thing I don't really like with this is how unscalable it is. Since I imagine the player getting a small speed bonus on every level and having no level cap really, so it could really go reduce it to pretty much minus speed if you wanted to. I would rather want it to be so the early speed increases are quite noticeable, but then it drops off when you get like higher up, say your 1000 speed or something. If any of you have any ideas how to improve this formula, let me know. But some lore. The garbage jelly was originally created by Lazy Wizard as a way to clean up trash and failed experiments. Though they failed to account for them being able to multiply when grown enough, leaving the population exploding and seeping into our water supplies, caverns and other dank places in search for more food to absorb. You do not want to get caught in them, even your bones will disintegrate after a few days. That is also going to be the end of this devlog. I've done some bug fixes as well, but mostly small things that I thought I had already fixed. But as a final thing, I can ask for your guys' opinion on this new player character I've started on. I would like all the feedback you have on this guy, so I want it to look as good as possible before I actually switch out the current player art. But that's it for this time. Thank you so very much for watching. And until next time, see ya.